Hi, Catherine here. A few days ago, I published my book, A Feminine Path. I ordered some copies myself from Amazon, and they've just arrived. So here it is, the paperback version and the hardback version. So I thought, in celebration, I would read to you from the book. First of all, so you know what it's about, I'll just read the words on the back cover. The book is actually, it's part memoir. It's a memoir of my spiritual journey. And then there are reflections on some topics which I am reframing from a feminine point of view. And those topics are, spiritual awakening, sexuality, aging, beauty, sovereign leadership. Those are the most important topics. So the back of the book says, from Taoist groundwork to Tantric fire, those are the paths main paths, spiritual paths that I studied. A feminine path dismantles the patriarchal overlays that have veiled our spiritual lineages, revealing the feminine intelligence that endures beneath them. Over decades of inquiry, practice, and direct realization within the feminine tantric and non-dual spiritual traditions, Catherine Rowan reveals how the body can become a laboratory of transformation and how personal crises can become initiations to new ways of being. This is not simply a memoir, it is a philosophical and lived exploration of spiritual awakening, erotic initiation, aging, beauty, and sovereign leadership through the lens of authentic feminine wisdom. A feminine path invites readers beyond personal healing into embodied spiritual maturity and a reconfiguration of how power is understood and can be lived with integrity, intimacy, and presence rather than performance, manipulation, and control. So I think, first of all, I will read to you from the introduction to the book, which is called the preface here, actually, the preface to the book. And then I'm going to read a couple of sections from the aging chapter. So the preface says, to all those with the courage to pick cosmic flowers and eat pomegranate seeds. This is a book of lived initiation, part memoir and part distilled wisdom. It charts a feminine path where descent rather than ascent is fundamental to spiritual realization. Many of us don't find a mirror for the path we've walked in traditions that offer a linear framework focused on ascension. The patriarchal spiritual maps rarely name the blood-rich, bone-deep terrain where embodiment is the goal, not transcendence. The feminine map is more like a spiral, with more than one trip into an underworld where all that is superficial is undone and truth is revealed. My own path of transformation led me through psychotherapy, yoga, Taoist shamanism, meditation, and tantric exploration. It ultimately brought me into the arms of a lineage rooted in the non-dual feminine, a lineage in which the feminine aspect was never removed from God or whatever name you use for the ultimate consciousness and its creative power. When we understand the feminine as creative power, we turn patriarchal thinking about power and about women on its head. The feminine initiates. She invites the breakdown of illusion, the release of false identities, and the return to a truth too vast to be spoken. Sometimes the spiral spins upwards, sometimes it spins downwards. Over time, it will always pull us deeper. Many spiritual accounts overlook the ongoing journey after non-dual realization. Sorry, the book actually says after non-dual awakening or self-realization. Yet the ensuing journey of embodiment is the phase when we can revisit default patterns and see the wisdom in our wounds without being so identified with them. In this book, you will find myths, stories, and frameworks that serve as maps, reminders that transformation is not about becoming more, it is about shedding what was never true. Myths carry energetic truths in story form, providing structure and meaning to the process of descent, dismemberment, revelation, and return. You will read about my discovery of such truths through personal experience. My reference to cosmic flowers and pomegranate seeds. comes from a Greek myth that details the journey of feminine maturation and power. You may have already heard of Persephone, Demeter, and Hecate. You will learn more in this book. To begin, here is a summary. In the myth, an adolescent Persephone, daughter of Zeus, the ruler of the sky, and the earth mother Demeter, is out in the fields with her friends when she becomes attracted to an unusual flower. It is possible that she has received warnings not to pick such a flower, but its allure is intoxicating, filling her with overwhelming desire and curiosity. Who has not experienced powerful energies that override common sense? Persephone picks this cosmic flower, oblivious to the consequences. Unexpectedly, the earth cracks open, and she falls into the underworld realm of the god Hades. Despite demands from both Zeus and Demeter, Hades initially refuses to return Persephone. Time passes, and Persephone learns how to navigate the underworld. Meanwhile, in her grief, Demeter neglects life, and the earth becomes barren. At this point, and after repeated urging from Zeus, who has become concerned by the loss of life on earth, Hades releases Persephone. But before he does so, he offers her pomegranate seeds, which she eats as a symbol of her commitment to return for a portion of each year to sit on the underworld throne as Hades' wife. The symbol of the pomegranate seeds is explained in chapter 5. This book is my personal version of remembering the feminine current, the force that underlies all form. Therefore, there is very little quoting of texts or research data. I offer this book as a companion to your own journey of remembering. Right now, I'm going to go to chapter 5 to pick up on that pomegranate reference in my chapter on aging. So this section is called Fruits from the Underworld. Across cultures, pomegranates are symbols of fertility, passion, prosperity, and beauty. Pomegranate seeds also speak to metaphorical death and rebirth. It is through descent into the dark, the messy, and the unknown that life becomes rich again. The seeds eaten by Persephone, which assure her allegiance to the underworld, represent the fruits of every real initiation. Each time we allow an old identity or phase of life to dissolve, we partake in that same mystery. Just like snakes shedding their skins, we are designed to let go of outdated forms. This is how we reconnect with eros, with abundance, and with the full-bodied joy of being alive. Yet so many shy away from the underworld, and in doing so remain uninitiated, princesses or princes, pretending to be kings and queens. To become a queen, Persephone had to pick a cosmic flower, descend into the underworld, and then find her way back. Before she returns, she eats the pomegranate seeds proffered by Hades. Subsequently, in the myth, we meet Hecate, the crone who guides Persephone in and out of all subsequent visits to the underworld. When my daughter was young and I was in my Demeter phase, a full-time mother taking occasional pieces of work to keep my foot in the professional world, she said one day, "Mummy, when I grow up, will I be a nothing like you?" My heart broke. She didn't know what I'd chosen. She did not yet understand that I had moved out of London, bought a smaller home, and consciously mothered her myself because I felt called to. She could not yet see the ashram I created in our home. She did not understand I had chosen spiritual devotion over material success. I hope she now knows that what lies beneath the surface of so-called nothing is the difference between the non-awakened older woman and the crone. She won't be a nothing if she learns to harvest the fruits of her own descents. That requires time. The true reward of the spiritual quest is not a celebration of a hero or heroine. It's a diet of pomegranate seeds, representing the ongoing living of the mysteries of love, life, death, and love. The fruits of the journey are enough. So the next section is the crone at the crossroads. For women, the patriarchal rewrite of the role of the crone is one of the reasons we may try to turn back the clock, at least on our own visual presentation. The word crone is a derivation of crown. If we see her as the mature and sovereign queen, rather than the old an ugly hag witch, we have a much more positive archetype to embrace. To be a crone is to be crowned. Meanwhile, the word witch is a derivation of wise. Those accused of witchcraft were the healers, the seers, the ones who understood energetic law, the ones who embodied power. We've all been sold a lie about aging and wisdom, both women and men. And it is that lie that has turned women into commodities, and even though every one of us was born through and hopefully nurtured by a female body. Many female lives have been wasted through the violation and invalidation of women through centuries of male entitlement. It is now time to stop objectifying the maiden, stop undermining the mother, and stop discarding the crone. Hecate is one archetype we can explore to understand what lies beyond our Persephone and Demeter initiations. She is a mythical model for the spiritually seasoned. The world needs its Hecates and its male counterparts as mentors, guides, protectors, teachers, and healers. Male archetypes might include Merlin or Shiva in his Bhairava aspect, wild, wise, and unattached. Hecate is referred to as a guardian of the crossroads. These crossroads are the times when grief or loss presents a choice. Will we descend into an underworld and let it transform us, or will we avoid the void, pretending nothing has changed? The prevalence of antidepressants suggests the latter. In our culture, the unspoken mantra is just keep functioning. But what if initiation requires dysfunction, at least for a time? Hecate walks with Persephone into the underworld. She is the guide, the teacher with mud on her boots. She brings compassion born of her own descents, patience to honor the pace of integration, vision to glimpse what's emerging, wisdom to read the signs. In myth, Hecate refuses to be reduced to a single role. She moves freely between worlds. Imagine if that were our cultural model for aging, not withdrawal or decline, but freedom. Retirement gestures at this, but all too often it smells of exile from productive life. I hope you enjoyed that. Lots more in here. I will give you the details of how you can order it. Say it's easily available on Amazon. I really hope you enjoy it. And if you do read it, I would love to hear if you have any feedback for me. And you can always contact me by email, Catherine@catherinerowan.com. Bye for now.